The goal with charting is to separate the signal from the noise. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Money Flow Stock Market Review and Forecast. I'm your host, Dr. BJ Love, and I will be bringing you this week's broadcast for Sunday, October 31st, 2025. The market's muscle, big caps, tech keeps the rally rolling. The major averages open the period hitting record highs for a second straight week, once again led by strength in the technology sector. NVIDIA surged after announcing new deals with Planeteer and a $1 billion investment in Nokia. And we will be looking at those particular stocks later on in the program. Now, the major averages were able to move higher with the government shutdown entering its second month and a lack of key economic data being published. Further upside could be limited, leaving the stock market to consolidate October's gains as it rose into November. Now, for the period, the Dow Jones Industrial gained 356 points and settled at 47,563, while the S&P 500 picked up 49 points and closed at 6,840. The NASDAQ 80 added 520 points, finishing at 23,725, while the small cap Russell 2000 fell 34 points and settled at 2,479. Breath, the heartbeat of the market, was positive. Now, the VIX, aka the fear gauge, rose 0.53 and closed at 17.44. And as we reiterate on each broadcast, that as long as the VIX remains below that threshold of 20, the market tends to grind higher. Now, this is one of the components of the time-tested methods and indicators that helps us to navigate these markets with confidence, clarity, and calmness. Now, the crude oil prices increased 32 cents and closed at $60.89 a barrel, now rising above that threshold of 60 once again. Let's see how long it can remain. We'll look at oil as well. Gold prices eased $5.30 and finished at $4,010.60 an ounce. Silver closed at $48.16 per ounce, below that $50 level that it reached a few weeks ago. Bitcoin closed the session at 109,880. And we're going to look at Bitcoin a little bit closer and see why it has been falling over the past few weeks. The market outlook, the technical condition of the market is mixed. Now let's get right into these charts so we can see what is going on. And as usual, we start with our 4-grid, our weekly chart. This is our foundation. This is our cornerstone. This is what helps us to know and understand what the long-term trend of the market is. Remember, long-term trends dominate, short-term trends fluctuate. So we have the S&P 500, we have the Dow Jones Industrial Average, we have the NASDAQ Composite, and then we have the Russell 2000. So we're going to maximize these windows so we can see exactly where we are. So as you can see, if you've been with us for a while, you know that we still have that green background, which is our proprietary software, letting us know that the trend is still in a upward trajectory. We are still in a bull market, and that's been going on here since a long time. We had a little bit of a glitch here in March and April, but since May, the market has been going up, up, up. Each one of these price bars represent a week in time in the market, and as you can see, every week, even though we have one down week, it bounces back and moves up, up, up. We have another down week and moves up, up, up. And these prices are above rising moving average. That is part of our philosophy. As long as the price is above a rising moving average, 90% of the time it tends to move higher, especially with the VIX being below 20. And as you can see, our confirming um, indicator here, the MACD, the moving average convergence divergence is still in a positive momentum configuration. Now that is the S&P 500. We're going to move on now and look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and as you can see, a similar pattern. Uh, Green background indicating that we're still bullish, right? This is our long-term trajectory. This is our long-term uh, trend, and it dominates as the short-term trends fluctuate. So even though we had some volatility, but for the most part, you can see it moving up, 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 reaching a new high here uh, last week at 48,040, and our confirming indicator, the MACD, which is our momentum indicator, uh, continues to remain in a positive state, saying that, okay, there could be more upside than downside here in the coming weeks. But we shall wait, watch, and see. Now, moving on to the NASDAQ composite. This is the heavy tech, as we forestated in our introduction. Technology has been driving this market up, 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 and you can see with our green background, and our moving averages moving up and our prices being above these moving averages and it hitting a new high on last week, there is no doubt that we are continuing to be in a bull market. Now, when that will change, we don't know. But as for now, our system is projecting higher prices at this particular time. Also, our confirming momentum indicator, the MACD, the moving average convergent divergent, is still in a positive state. Moving on now to the Russell 2000, the small cap, a little bit more volatile. However, every week we keep seeing the markets go up, 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 hitting new highs, hitting new highs. Every time you see that little stamp right there, that means it hits a new high. And our MACD, moving average convergence divergence, still in a positive state, confirming or reiterating or helping us to be more assured that we are continued in a upward state. Okay, that's the state of the market. What's our takeaway? We are still bullish. Yes, there is a chance that there can be weakness coming up in the coming weeks. But however, as of last week, Friday, the market closing, we are in a bullish state. All right, so now let's look at these. We're going to look at we're at our weekly chart here, and we're going to look at what we have. Okay, go to our flex. And we need to move it back here so we can see. There we go. All right. So now, as we can see, we talked about Nokia, and this is one of the stocks that we're invested in that NVIDIA is pouring over $1 billion into because they are restructuring and moving into a more um, uh, artificial intelligence uh, configuration, if you will. So here we got the signal to buy Nokia a few weeks ago, the week of 9/22, and we paid about 450, and it went all the way up to a high of $8.19, almost doubling our money, but now it's resting at around that $7 range, right at $6.91. So that is a 50% increase for us since September of September 22nd, 2025. Not bad for a 6 week return. However, when you look at Planeteer, Planeteer over the past year has increased about 500%. And we were lucky enough to get in at the signal here when it was closed. The low was around, we got around $45. And we just continuing using our philosophy. As long as the price is above this rising moving average, this is a weekly chart. Now, this is a long-term chart. We stayed with it. We stayed with it. Wish I would have bought more because this is not even a year yet, and we are up 500% on this particular stock. Wow. And our system finds this for us all the time. There's a few more that I'd like to show you, but first we're going to go ahead now and look at those commodities that we usually talk about in the introduction. And we're going to look at Bitcoin. Right? And Bitcoin, this is our weekly, this is our long-term chart. And for the past 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, it has been falling. Even though we do maintain a strong position as far as relative strength, but some of our confirming indicators are showing short-term weakness, and we continue to wait, watch, and see if Bitcoin is going to turn around. So that's a look at Bitcoin. We're going to look at oil. Yes. Right. So look at oil, and you can tell it's still in a downturn, and it just doesn't look like there is any long-term change, even though we got a short-term blip here this week, and it hit above 60. So this is the opposite of a long-term trend. This is a long-term. This is the opposite of a long-term uptrend. Now, this is a long-term downtrend, and you can see where we saw here with, say, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the prices are above rising moving averages. Here you can see with oil, prices are below a falling moving average. So you can kind of get the gist of what we're using here as our trend tracker. So we looked at oil. Now we're going to look at gold. Gold has been on a tear, oh boy, for about a year, and it is still above $4,000 an ounce, but it has moved from $2,500 an ounce over the past year up to 4,000. So that is almost a double, not quite a double, but very good return over the past year if you've been investing in gold. We are invested in some gold stocks. One of the main ones that we have is KGC, and KGC has been a superstar for us. We have been able to get in at around $9, and it got all the way up to almost $28. Now it's resting at around 23. So we're looking at about 3 times our money. Not quite 3 times right now, but we were at one time at around up 300% with KGC. That is our main gold stock. We're going to look at silver. Okay, and silver has been in an uptrend as well. So those are the stocks and some of the commodities that our system finds for us, and we're able to invest in these and find them when they're breaking out, as we say, at a low price, and then just watch them rise, 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 as we've seen with Nokia and as we've seen with Planeteer. So there you have it. That is how we do it. This is a time-tested and proven system, and it just makes us money over and over and over. That's why we call it the money flow system. So, as there you have it. Still in the bull market. Our stocks are still flying high. So, with that said, every day and every way we get better and better. Every day and every way we grow more prosperous, successful, and victorious. And God's love continues to surround us and fold us and enwraps us. And we go forth in perfect peace in every